Hey guys, welcome. It's Marcy, the Cranky Crafter. It's Fodder Friday, and we're back with the watercolors. I have had a few suggestions in the comments about things that people would like to see for Fodder Friday, and I am keeping a list, so we will make our way through, hopefully, the majority of them. I can't promise all of them because I don't see myself being able to do justice to a Highland cow in watercolor. I just don't know that my skills are there to do that, but most of the other ones we shall do. But today, in light of the fact that we are now in the autumn season, yeah, it had to be done, right? Pumpkins, gourds, whichever you want to call them. I thought my husband was gone, and now I hear him coming back in. I didn't close the door, so hopefully he doesn't make a ruckus. I have all these kinds. I have these very different ones. They're all different, and yet the same. Hopefully you look at them and say, hey, that's a pumpkin. I recognize that. This one's a little more like just a squash shape, maybe just a regular squash. I mean, a pumpkin is a squash. I do know that, but that's the thing. They could be any shape. To be honest, I love all of them, but I'm kind of partial to this little plump guy. I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do them, and then you can kind of figure out which way you like the best for yourself and which way maybe speaks to you more, because that's really what a lot of art is about, right? What makes you happy, what speaks to you. Sometimes things speak more to us than others, and if that's the case, go with that one because it's your art and you get to make it what you want it to be. So I've got my 8 round, I've got my water, I've got my cloth, and I have my palette over here that's already activated. I have loads of different colors because I don't know, I feel like I like to make my pumpkins in lots of different colors, even though you wouldn't see those actually out in nature maybe. That's what I like to do, so that's what we're gonna do. So I do have my main palette back here in case I need to draw more color. Okay, we'll get started. So the first one, and I'm sure that you're probably seeing pumpkins all over social media these days because, you know, it's that time of year. Are you a big pumpkin spice fan? I actually do like pumpkin most everything, but I think like pumpkin muffins are, yeah, I like a good pumpkin muffin. Okay, so I got like this, I don't know, deep orange color that we're gonna go with. And the first way I'm gonna show you is probably the most, I don't know, probably the most common, but I say that lightly, right? Because everybody has their techniques that they fall to. So you're gonna kind of make a little oval for the center. And then what you're gonna do is come back in and kind of make C shapes on the side. And you'll see that the color is kind of pooling at the bottom. We can fix that, or, you know, move it around. Because I like, I kind of manipulate it anyway to make it more of a rounder shape. And then you can come in and drop in some color if you want to. This is kind of just like a darker, more a little bit red in it. And then whatever color you want your stem to be. I didn't really leave much room up here, did I? I don't mind that the green is kind of coming into the other colors. If you don't want that to happen, then let everything dry first. And really, like most of the fodder that I do, most of the watercolor in general that I do, a lot of the depth will come from the pin marks, because we'll make, you know, the little lines in there. Like, I think you look at that and see a pumpkin, but when you add the pin marks, that will help. And then something that I love to do, just because I love to do it, is to do splatters. You can wait and do this when you have a whole row. You can do it each one. That's really up to you. And the thing with the pumpkins is, I'm gonna grab some paint from back here. Excuse me. You can make them any size. You know, you can make them plumper, you can make them taller. It really is, well, pretty much like all of the Fodder Friday that we do. It's however you want it to be. I kind of lean towards things that you know, that we can make our own, as opposed to, you know, just following somebody else's picture and having it to be that way. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made sense. I like to leave a little bit of the white bits because that adds depth, if you ask me. If you didn't ask me, that's what I'm telling you. I'm running out of green over here. And one of the things that I really like to do is put the curly vine. And to do that, you want to make sure that you have a really pointy point. Pointy point. That's official language, watercolor language. And then you just come up here and do your little swirly vine. I didn't do one for the other one, did I? Let's see if I can come in here and do it without. There. Now, to be frank, those are a little bit fussy to cut out, but that's okay. You can also add them later, because like all of them I didn't add one to. If you put this, you know, on a card or in your journal or whatever, you can always add the little tendrils, you know, with a pin another time. Okay, I'm going to switch to a different color, but here's the thing. We're going to move into a different one that is kind of like these little, they're like maybe squishier. I don't know if that's the right description. They're not as, you know, tall and elongated. They're more squishy. And I saw this technique some time ago. It was on maybe a reel or I don't know, some online thing. But I didn't catch the, you know, because it was one of those things that move real fast. Either it was a YouTube short or it was like on Instagram or one of those ones that are real fast, right? And I don't always catch the artist, so I apologize for that. But the technique has been used before, And it's one that I really enjoy using because I think it's super fun. So what you're really going to do is get your brush loaded up with some good watery paint to begin with. And then you're going to make basically like a squiggle. Like that. And you're like, what the heck is that even? That's not a pumpkin. But then you're going to come in and you're going to kind of shape it along like that. And then I like to do the splatters. This is kind of like a bluish color. This one's a darker purple. Again, you don't have to do splatters. I like the splatters. And then you're going to come in with whatever stem color you want and put your little stem on. That's kind of watery. I'm going to pick some of that up. If you get excess paint and you want to pick it up, just dab your brush onto your cloth over here and make it dry, and then you can come in and pick it up. See how I'm picking up some of that? Like that. Okay, that's fun. Let's do another one. And then we'll also come in when this one's dry and do, you know, pin marks and make like the little curvy bits. Okay, let's do another one. And you could make these as big or as small, right? Like you could make them, whew, biggie big. I'm getting more outside of the pumpkin than I am in the pumpkin. It's all good. All good. But I need to grab some more blue. If you find that, sometimes you can find that your paints get a little bit more watery than you would like them to be. I simply just grab some more paint from my main palette and add it in there, and it will eventually become more of like the maple syrup consistency that I prefer to work with. Everybody kind of has their sweet spot of, this one looks like it already has a little stem. I'm just gonna see if I can come up on that. And this guy's gonna get a blue one. All right, let's do a few more. We can go back to these other ones if we want. Should we try like a turquoisey one? Turquoisey green. Do that. And I don't think you always have to start in the middle either. I suppose you could. You could start on the outside bits and go to the center if you would rather it be that way. And those I didn't do. I could go back in and do some curly bits. And I'm going to get my hand all in this. Try not to get my hand all in that purple. All right, let's try moving my color palette around. Let's try one where we do the outside bits first and then get to the center. I don't know if I've done it this way before, but we'll try it. That's good too. Ooh, this is red. See, that's the thing, is you can do it. The colors will bleed in. No, I don't know. I just love watercolors, you guys. And you can just do a little straight one if you want. Doesn't have to have a curve to it at all. I need to spray my paints again. If your paints dry out back there, you know, wherever your main palette is, if they dry out, just spray them a little bit with some water. All right, let's do one more. Which kind should we do? Let's do another one of those swirly ones. My colors are quite muted, but if you want them to be, you know, bright, then by all means, brighten them up. And then you can come in here. You could even use your watercolor and start making your little lines. When it's still super wet, it's not, you know, gonna necessarily stay that way because the colors will kind of merge. But you see what I'm saying? You can kind of get that shape. And I'm kind of pulling directly from my palette for that, just so that I have more concentrated color. Like that. And I think I'm going to do some purple splatters on that one. You don't have to do splatters at all. I like them. They make me smile. And then just put a little stem up there. And come in. And you could do it on the other side. You could do one on each side if you want. I kind of like just one, but you can have more than one. I think there's one in here where, yeah, I kind of put like a leaf on. You could do that too. Okay, now what I want to do before I dry this off is come in and do some splatters on all this, because the splatters on the ones that are nearly dry will take differently than these ones. Do you see how those purple splatters that I put on this one have already kind of like spread out, right? So if your pieces are more dry, then your splatters are gonna stand up on top of the art, if that makes sense. Again, you don't have to do this part. This one's still wet, so it's still gonna just keep spreading out. All right, I'm gonna dry. Okay, now you don't even have to use black pen if you don't want to. I mean, you could use whatever color pen you want. I tend to gravitate towards just a black. This is a 0.35, just some off-brand. You don't have to do the pen marks if you don't want to, or you could come in with maybe a Posca or some other kind of acrylic. I just do it to add definition. If you like the, very organic feel of this, then you don't have to, do the pen marks. But we're going to do pen marks. And also, I'm going to cut these out, but if you wanted, you could make a piece of framed. No, that's not what I meant to say. Like a piece to frame where you just do little pumpkins all over and then leave it on the sheet and do your splatters or whatever. And you don't have to cut them out. I'm going to end up with a bajillion pumpkins probably this fall season because I like, it's very relaxing to me. So we're basically just going to come in with a very loose line. And I'm just kind of making, the curvy part, if you will. So that it looks like it has the sections. Oftentimes I will go over things twice. I just like to do that. And then a lot of times I'll come up in here like the bottom. I'll just add some squiggles, and then I'll do the same thing kind of up here. I just like the pin marks. It seems very organic to me, but you don't have to do that. And you can do as many sections as you want, right? I like to come back in over the color on the tendril, but if you just want the tendril to stay whatever color you made it, that's fun too. Now these kind of in the same vein, right, where you're just making the sections, but let's see, I kind of do it a little bit more intentional with these and make less of them, I guess, if you will. I'm probably gonna still get wet splatters on my and then I'll come in and go like that. So already to me, that makes it so much more pumpkin-y. And when you go to cut this out, if you're choosing to cut it out, if you want to get rid of some of these additional black lines, just cut them off. You don't have to, they don't have to stay there, is what I'm saying. So we are reading a book in the book club that I host on Facebook. It's just a very laid back, very, very laid back book group. If anybody's interested, let me know and I can post it in the link, or, post a link of it in the description or whatever. But this month's book is not my normal, go-to. I don't usually go for suspense-filled, anxiety-ridden books because I'm like, I can get enough of that in real life. But what happens in the club is that I put a poll up and we choose books 3 months ahead of time. So I'll put a poll up and then people will vote on which books they want. So I try to put a generous helping of all different kinds of genres out there, because I know, if it was just me, it would probably end up with, the same kind of genres all the time, like historical fiction or whatever. But, you know, other people in the group like other things, and so I want everybody to kind of have stuff that they enjoy, and plus it's also nice to, you know, get out of your comfort zone, I guess. So we're reading this book. It's called, what is it called? The Madness by Dawn something. I can't remember her last name. But it already right away, the cover looks a little bit spooky. So I was like, this is, what have I gotten myself into, you guys? And there's a gal in the book club that really, really likes, you know, like suspense and crime mysteries and stuff. That one's fun. These are all fun. And so this was, you know, one that won out in the poll. And so I'm like, oh boy. And so, sorry, that's my niece calling me. It goes off on my watch and it doesn't, thankfully not on my phone, because I'm recording on my phone. Well, I'm going to have to call her back. I'm busy being famous right now, niece. You could even do like, you know, little stripes there, kind of, because you know how like the stalks kind of have like striations. Does that make sense? There. Look, that's it. That's how simple it is. Aren't they fun? Okay, let's cut some out. Yeah, okay, so back to the book. So we're reading this book. It's called Madness. It's kind of, yeah, it's a little bit creepy for me, coming from me, who's a non-creepy book reader. So it's kind of like, you know, if you don't like spicy in your food and somebody says it's not spicy, and then you eat it and you're like, dude, this is spicing my mouth off. So everybody has, you know, different tolerances. So I was reading the book and it was getting to this pretty intense creepster part, and it was getting close to time for bed, of course, so it's dark outside, and look at that. See, I really like the splatters there. They're gonna get mostly cut off. That kind of makes me a little sad. And so it's getting close to be time for bed, so I'm putting my book down, and I have to go out and put the chickens to bed. For those that don't know, I have chickens back in the backyard, and while they officially will put themselves into the coop, I go in there and make sure that they're all tucked in, and just, you know, I want to make sure that they're all safe and accounted for, is basically what I'm saying. So that's what I had to do. So it was time to do that, and time to let the dogs out for their last bathroom break, and go outside, get my garden clogs on, head to the coop, which, mind you, is not that far from the house, because we have, you know, we live in a neighborhood, so we have maybe, probably not even a quarter of an acre, very small. Go out to the coop, and so we have a coop, which is basically the back portion of our shed, and then attached to that is a run that they have access to, and then we also have built them what we call the fun run, which they have a little tunnel made out of like chicken wire and stuff that they can walk through and get to this extended portion of the run. We usually have it up in the winter, fall, winter, early spring, and then when it's garden season, we'll take it down because then I usually use that space for the garden. Okay, so you have the scene set, right? So I'm walking out there and walking past the little lean-to on the coop and go to get to the carabiner on the coop door, and all of a sudden I hear this like flapping noise. It's not normal. It's not a chicken noise. It's like it's a different flapping noise. And I'm like, what in the hay? And next thing I know, there's this bird that's just flapping away, that's managed to get itself stuck in the fun run. So it's like, you know, crazy trying to get out. Who knows how long he's been in there? Because now it's dark time and all he wants to do is go home to his bed. And so he's flapping to get out and he can't get out. Ivy is outside with me and she thinks that this is, you know, this is not okay. We're on red alert at this point. So she's running back and forth on the perimeter of the fun run. And I'm like, oh, brother. Well, I find out that it's a mourning dove. And thankfully, it's not like a bat or something, because then I probably would have peed my pants. So the top of the fun run is like, to get access is, it opens up on hinges, but it's extremely heavy. And I'm vertically challenged, so it's already hard enough for me to like get enough leverage to move it over top of like my person. So Ivy is going around. This bird is flapping about and I'm trying to get the hinge part up. So I get it finally over. The bird like comes out just as I'm walking past, like goes right past my face. And I'm like, okay, this is why I don't read scary books, because these things, this is real life now. Now we're in real life outside of Marcy's house and I'm getting attacked by mourning doves. Oh, brother. All right, what do we think? Do we love them? Which one do you guys think you like? Which shape? They're all a little bit different shaped, huh? This one kind of reminds me, yeah, I mean, it's a pumpkin, but I don't know. It has more like a different kind of squash shape to it. I still think I kind of favor these little squatty plump ones. But which ones do you guys like? We have a ton of them. All different colors. Whoops, and I'm knocking them down onto the ground. Can you even see these still? That's probably about as many as I can put in, isn't it? All right, well, hopefully you like pumpkins, because we've got a lot of them. I'm gonna try to think of some other things to do for fall, just because autumn is like my favorite time of the year. So I'm trying to think of different autumn themed fodder that we can do. Maybe some fun, like bigger leaves. If you guys have ideas, put them below. But remember, I'm not a professional. So this is what we get. Whimsical. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up if you think about it. Subscribe if you want to. I would love it. We'd love to have you around. Just of note, I am doing a giveaway because I made it past 500. So if you want to scout out my, my snail themed nature journal video that I posted, and check that out. That gives all the details for it. If anybody wants to give me a shout out and talk about the giveaway and link the actual video where the directions are, that would be great. I would love that. And I think that's it for us, guys. I hope you guys have a good weekend. I hope everybody's doing lovely, and I'll see you next time.